marvelous organization. The Indian-American Friendship Council has been around for a long time. I've been here for a long time also, and I've never seen this many members of Congress, including members of the Senate, come to any one organization's meeting. No matter how big or important the organization or the meeting might be, they don't command this number of members of Congress.
And I want to congratulate Dr. Krishna for what he's been doing in bringing us together each and every year. You have shown how important the voice of Indian Americans are to our nation and to the Congress.
The relationship between India and the United States has always been very positive, but over the last 10 years, the Friendship Council certainly has exceeded all of our hopes relative to improving that relationship between India and the United States.
The relationship between our two nations is growing, and it's growing because of you. Keep up the great work, and God bless each and every one of you.
It's a real pleasure to be here tonight, and I do want to thank Dr. Reddy because he has been so wonderful in trying to bring so many of the Indian American groups together to make a political point and to basically encourage better relations between the United States and India and really show the clout of the Indian American community here in Washington as well as in other parts of the country, particularly California.
Thank you very much, Dr. Krishna Reddy. What a great job you have done assembling this group of people. Let's hear it to Dr. Reddy. Just before my coming here, I received a phone call and was asked to read this letter from the President of the United States. Warm greetings to everyone gathered in our nation's capital for the annual conference of the Indian American Friendship Council. The people of the United States and India have long benefited from each other's wisdom and experience, a process that has enriched us all and has fortified the foundation on which our democracies rest. In recent years, the bonds we share have developed an important new dimension as economic reforms in India have generated unprecedented levels of bilateral trade and investment. The United States seeks to further deepen these and other ties in ways that will advance the security and prosperity of our nation and help us to keep faith with the principles that guided the founders of our democracies. Over the course of the past 50 years, India has confronted many challenges, but has stayed true to its founding principles. In so doing, India has become a model to other nations and peoples around the globe who are still striving to build civil societies, to institutionalize democratic values of free expression and religion, and to find strength in their diversity. As we mark the 50th anniversary of India's independence, we recognize that our two nations also share a special responsibility for promoting peace. The next 50 years offer us a great opportunity to broaden and deepen our partnership and to work together for peace and progress, not only for our own countries, but also for the world. Best wishes for a successful conference and a memorable anniversary celebration. Bill Clinton.
So I'm here this evening because of Nimi and our Indian delegation, and wanting to wish you a happy Independence Day on your 50th anniversary. And it's my pleasure to be here, and I look forward to meeting again with the new friends that I've made this evening and working with your community. Thank you.
So I must congratulate the Indian American Friendship Council not only for having staged such an event at such an apposite time, but for getting such a very full house And that also a house which can eat dinner so quietly that none of the speakers has to shout to be heard. I think you really need to be congratulated.
From one democracy in Asia to another democracy in Asia. Let us struggle together for freedom, liberty, and together with the United States for democracy and independence. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
The Indian community in this country has gotten so active, not just politically, but active in a cultural way in your community, active in teaching Americans, teaching people that grew up in this country a lot about the culture of India. Whether it's talking about Mahatma Gandhi, whether it's talking about Indian culture, whether it's talking about the South Indian food, and or whatever it is about this great culture of this great country. Another reason that
Thank you very much. This is a very successful conference that you put on here, and I must share with you that India's best ambassadors to the United States, with the exception of our Deputy Chief of Mission here, Ambassador Kelsey. With that exception, the best ambassadors from India are in this room. You are the best ambassadors from India.
Dr. Reddy and ambassadors, senators, my colleagues and friends of India, it's a great privilege for my wife Arlene and I to democracy evening, growing as it has over these many years that I've been exposed. The phenomenal expansion of educational opportunity, the growth in the numbers of your people coming to this country.
We will be honoring Dr. Reddy, who has put on this spectacular and unbelievable show. Let's all give him a standing ovation. Kamala Thakur. Dr. Reddy, we are very thankful to you. The Indian community is very thankful to you. Natarajan, Secretary of the Indo-American Friendship Council. Thank you, sir.
Pay more attention to South Asia, and in particular more attention to India and our relationship with India, which I believe is the most important relationship that we have in the world, because these are the two countries.
A very critical alliance exists here, and we need to build on it. And we need all Americans to understand the importance of that, as well as all Indians. And so I just, being one of the last people to say anything tonight, say thank you for doing what you've done by coming here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for a wonderful evening. But let's all pledge together. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work to build those bonds we're talking about and make sure that for the security and the interest of freedom in both the United States and India, we add to the knowledge of the world and the stronger support we need in the United States, particularly for that. Thank you.
Who is also a truly good friend of this community, and if I can make a partisan statement, deserves support in a very tough re-election campaign. Sitting next to him is one of our two leaders. As many of you are aware, the India Caucus is a group of members of Congress who are interested in the interests of promoting good U.S.-Indian relations and also the domestic concerns of the Indian-American community. The caucus is bipartisan. It has two chairs. The chairman on the Republican side, one of the most active members on the Republican side on these issues, truly an outstanding friend, Bill McCollum of Florida. Congressman Gilman has been previously mentioned, so let me continue to move on to my right. And we have Congressman McCollum's co-chair, probably the most active member on Indian American issues in the Congress, the founder and the Democratic co-chair of the India Caucus, Congressman Frank Pallone. Sitting next to Congressman Pallone is one of my heroes as someone who follows science issues in the Congress, Congressman George Brown of California. Next, we have probably the leading environmentalist in the House of Representatives from the state of Oregon, Congressman Earl Blumenauer. The next member of Congress may be the member of Congress who has visited India more than any other member of Congress. He's a physician. He knows the Indian physician issues as well as the domestic issues and the foreign policy issues. He is truly outstanding to this community, Congressman Jim McDermott of Washington State. Sitting next, the best congressman? No, they're all the best congressmen. Sitting next to him is truly an outstanding friend of this community and one of the closest friends of Dr. Reddy in Congress, Congressman Ed Royce, Republican of California.
And look at this relationship, look at these two countries, you can easily come to the conclusion that what America has and India has is what is now sought by every country in the world. What India has and America has is rule of law, freedom, and democracy. And I dare say that in the information global economy that we're now in, every country in the world must seek both of those ingredients. It is a happy note that America and India are the two largest countries in the world that contain these very essential ingredients.
Good to be back with you, and Dr. Reddy, again, thank you for a wonderful event and the way that you have promoted Indian-American friendship and the accomplishments. And this dinner gets bigger and better every year. It attracts more members of Congress. And plus we get to do this every year. So it's my pleasure to introduce Richard Gephardt to speak this. I guess I speak to you this evening. As you know, in official Washington, when the President of the United
American Friendship Council does extraordinarily important work in building ever more positive relationships between your country and mine, the United States of America, and the hereditary homeland of so many of you gathered here tonight, India, the two great democracies of our world. You know, I think the word responsible does resound very well and very appropriately given to India's recent conduct in the conflict in the Kashmir. And the other word that occurs to me is restraint. A restraint built on and reflective of strength. Strength of the confidence in its democratic way of life and strength of the Indian people. And I want to congratulate the government of India in the way that they performed.
Congressional delegation. I've never seen so many congressmen out at one dinner as we have here tonight, so that indicates the importance of the Indian-American Friendship Council, and long may you continue to do your good work.
Really, let us all stand and thank Dr. Reddy for what he has done to the community.
Mr. Ambassador, Senator, Mr. Chairman Gilman, ladies and gentlemen, members of the India Caucus, all, these are your supporters. These are the guardians at the gate. These are the people who better the relationship that we have with India. We have yet again delivered this group of members of Congress in a bipartisan fashion, Democrats and Republicans alike. One of the few things we agree upon all the time with overwhelming majorities in both parties is that our relationship with India must be strong and must be better.
Sometime last year, myself and Congressman Gary Ackerman wrote a letter to the President urging him to visit India. And I know many of the congressional members here as well urged the President to make that trip. Let me say it in a bipartisan way that I want to commend the President for the trip he took to India. I think that did much to make up for the indifference to India. A nation now of 8 billion people.
In the House and Senate, you've got almost a quorum here tonight. We can conduct some business before we're done. I want to thank President Reddy and welcome the Indian American Friendship Council, all of you, to Washington and to Capitol Hill once again. It's always a pleasure to break bread with you, and you'll forgive me if I have to run on after my remarks. We've got too crowded an agenda tonight. We look forward to always discussing how best we can strengthen our ties between India and our own nation.
The gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Pallone, is recognized for 60 minutes as the designee of the minority leader.
The reason that Congressman Sherman and I are talking specifically tonight about the Indian American Friendship Council, in part is because this session of Congress, which will close this evening here in the House, I think was one of the most successful Congresses in terms of